Coming up on 9:35 here on North Dakota Today, Hollywood celebrities and makeup artists know how to do it, getting that thinner, more dramatic look by using makeup. Jessica Wyndham from Sephora inside JCPenney is here this morning to show us the art of contouring. Good morning, Jessica. And of course, our model today is Miss Moquet. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Well, this morning, like you said, we're going to kind of sculpt the lovely Kim's face a little bit. She already has really stunning bone structure. But what we kind of like to do at Sephora is customize the contouring depending on your face. A lot of people now are doing YouTube tutorials. Not that we don't love YouTube tutorials, but if a gal has a thinner face and you have a slightly rounder one, you're not going to contour it the same way she does.
Well, not only that, but how do you trust the person that's on there? I mean, what makes them, you know, the expert if you're going onto YouTube? So I think we go right to the experts at Sephora here and we'll find out how to do it.
Absolutely. And we love to sit you down in the mirror and do just what we're doing now. So what we're going to do, we are going to start by just looking at the bones of Kim's face.
She does have lovely bone structure.
She does. She has lovely cheekbones, but they are rather smooth, so we can definitely pull them out, which we will be doing in a second. She has a perfect forehead where it's not too high, it's not too low, so we don't need to do anything there. And her chin is really beautifully proportioned. The proportions of your face, this should be the same distance as this, should be the same distance to the top of the head. So you can see that she's really beautifully proportioned. She does have a lovely strong jaw, and we can soften that up a little bit with contouring. Okay. So I love this kit. We have this right now. This is a $90 value. It's $34, and it has everything you need for a beautiful contour. So what we're going to do, since she is wearing powder foundation today, we are going to start with our powder. We usually want to match cream to cream, liquid to liquid, powder to powder. That's the way you keep from getting cakey. Okay. So I'm going to start with a nice small brush. This is actually normally a foundation brush. It's a number 56, but I love it because it has a nice thick brush head, plus it really can fit into the contour of the cheek, which is right where we want to put it. Okay. So we can see where her cheek is curving. We're going to start right up by the ear and just make it a little darker right there. And that's all we're doing. We're taking it down until the shadow stops. And now, that's where we want that.
Okay. In person, would you notice this?
Absolutely. That's what we want, but we're going to soften it out so it still looks natural, so it doesn't look like you're wearing anything once we're done. We are also going to take a little up onto the temple.
And the idea here is to just give her the shape of her face, and like for instance, you said she's got a strong jaw, you want to soften that. Well, because not all of us have the perfect face.
Exactly.
Like you do.
If she did have a slightly higher hairline, if she had a wider forehead, we could definitely shade it up here. If she had a longer chin, like I do, we could shove a little down here. And all we're doing, we're making the darker parts of the face look darker. Wherever we want to recede a color, where we want it to pull back a little bit, that's where we're putting the darker stuff here.
So when people look at you, they perceive the light? Is that how it works?
Exactly. Okay. That's all contouring is. We want the light to hit you in a more flattering way. Okay. That's all we're doing. And I encourage every gal to own her beauty, to be comfortable with her face and feel gorgeous the way she is. And at the same time, contouring is a great way. We also call it sculpting, because it's like I'm sculpting her face into the perfect shape. We can also pull out the features that we really love and maybe de-emphasize the ones that we don't love so much. Sure. So now I'm taking my brush and I'm sweeping it around to go down along her beautiful jawline and soften it up right on the corner there. And that'll give us the illusion of just a little more roundness. And you'll notice now that I've blended it all together, it doesn't look like she has any harsh lines. Can you turn your head for me, dear? It doesn't look like she's wearing anything.
Jump out there.
Exactly. And that's just what we want. We just want to pull out that beautiful, stunning cheekbone, soften the jawline just a tish, and make sure that we do a little bit up there, because that slims the forehead. Plus, this makes you look just a little more sun-kissed. This is kind of where the sun naturally hits you.
So now let's turn so we can see both sides and see what the difference is. There, you can see that. See, it's an obvious difference.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's how subtle it should be. You shouldn't notice it. It should just be manipulating the way the light hits your face.
Now, how do you know what color to use?
For Kim, we wanted to do something a little more dramatic so our viewers could see it. So we did a slightly darker color. For someone who's quite fair skinned, they might want to go a little bit lighter. It's just a matter of choosing something that's a couple shades darker than your natural skin tone. We also encourage you to do something a little bit with a cooler tone to it. A lot of bronzers tend to be a little more orangey, or they tend to be a little more bronzy, which wouldn't recede the line the same way we want to.
Sure.
Notice too that these are all mattes. They don't have any shimmer, no sparkle to them, because things with shimmer or sparkle make areas look bigger and things that are matte look smaller. So we want to make that come back a little bit, look a little smaller to pull out that gorgeous cheekbone. So we're choosing something with that more matte, more soft, more cool finish, and that's what it does. It gives you that beautiful shadow to the face.
Now, a lot of women I've seen try to do this with blusher. What's the difference? Why is that not a good idea?
Well, you can do it with blush, but again, it's not going to create the shadow like we want it to. It's going to create some rosiness there, which we're going to get to here in a second, but it's not going to blend with the face. It's not going to look natural because blushers tend to be pinker, and your skin right there usually isn't all that pink.
Okay.
But what you can do, and we'll choose a nice bright color. Don't be afraid of bright colors, they're lovely. We're going to flip brushes for this. This is my number 55. I love a number 55. It's a good general brush. You can use it for anything. But now we're going to use it for blush, and we're just going to pat. I do say too, do pat, don't swirl.
Don't swirl. Why, less?
Well, it puts less on your brush, so you don't overload your brush. Plus, when you swirl, it kicks up a lot of your product, and then you just lost half your product.
Waste it. Okay.
So I usually say, in general, go down from the center of the eye and start about right there.
Okay.
You can start in the center of the cheek, and you can blend it up, you can blend it over, but starting right there keeps you from going too close to the nose, which can make your nose red, or from taking it a little too far up.
Okay.
So we're just going to tap it over the apple of the cheek, and this also defines her beautiful apples. And then we're going to blend it back into the blush, to the bronzer that we did, to that contouring that we did, to give ourselves that beautiful, perfect, blended and flushed look.
Okay.
Gorgeous.
Well,
look at that.
very pretty. Now, again, turn the other way so we can compare. Yep.
And not that her bone structure isn't beautiful here, but
Right.
you can see it
Right.
when we get over here.
It kind of highlights it, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Which is the whole idea.
Exactly. But now, speaking of that, we're going to go on to highlighter. I love highlighter, especially because we tend to be a little fairer in North Dakota. It can be a little intimidating to do the dark stuff. But in order to kind of highlight the area, we're going to choose a highlighter, and I'm using this soft, almost shimmering color, and I love a fan brush for highlighting. And in order to see this, if you go down, we can see right where the light's hitting her, right in this little lighter spot there. So we're just going to want to make that lighter spot look lighter. And this is why I love a fan brush, because one, it puts it on very, very lightly, and two, I can fit the fan right to the curve of her cheek. Remember, when you're working, especially with contouring, most of our face is not in straight lines. So if you work in straight lines, it's going to look a little funny. Our face is all curves. So if we work with the curve of the cheek, it's going to look much more natural, and we're going to pull up that stunning cheekbone that she has.
It's beautiful.
It gives you just a little light and a little radiance.
All right, we're almost out of time here. Any last minute advice?
Well, we're going to do a little bit right above the eyebrow as well. I also, last but not least, I always tell you do the top of the lip right here. Because that plumps up that top lip, and when you bounce the light off there, your lips look cushier.
No,
they look a
well,
little
there you
plumper
go.
and kissier.
And who doesn't want that, right?
Exactly.
Thank you so much for being here. Now, we've got some information for you. If you would like your own lesson, you can go to Sephora at Kirkwood Mall. It's right in the middle of the store there. It's easy to find.
Exactly.
It's a fun place to go. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being our model today. We will be right back, so don't go away.